Start again, the recording only just started, okay. My name is Peter Rutz. I'm National Subject Advisor in Exploring World Faiths for the U3A. And we started these webinars at the beginning of the lockdown. And we hadn't intended to continue them, but we get a lot of requests for them. So it looks as though we're meeting a need. So as long as the need is there, we will meet them. Okay. Next month it's Interfaith Week, and we're going to do one Faiths Working Together, and you have got the date from that in the newsletter that came. And then in December we're going to do the Zoroastrian faith. And everybody knows about the Zoroastrian faith who follow Queen and Freddie Mercury was Zoroastrian. Okay, so I'm going to introduce my friend and my colleague from the Birmingham Council of Faiths. We are both on the board of the Birmingham Council of Faiths. I'm the secretary, and Arvinder is the Jain representative. And Arvinder gives a very good explanation of the Jain faith, and many people know very little about the Jain faith. So this is your opportunity to find out more. And just one final thing before Arvinder starts. If you are not already on our mailing list and you would like to be on our mailing list, I will put my email address in the chat. Okay, so email me and I will, or phone me, whatever, and I will put you on our mailing list to make sure that you always get to know about whatever it is that and we will in January have another one of our sessions for people who are running Exploring World Faith groups or are thinking of doing so. Okay, so I'm going to stop now, and Arvinder, it's all over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Can I request everybody to mute themselves, and when you want to ask questions, then you can unmute yourself. Please mute yourself now. Thank you. Jai Janendra, as Peter said, I am the representative of Jain faith. Let me start with the greeting, Jai Janendra. Jai meaning victor, humbleness, respect, bow down. Janendra are people who have conquered their inner enemies, not outer enemies, inner enemies. What are the inner enemies? Greed, anger, lust, and so on. We bow down to them, we respect them. Basics of Jainism. You will see some points will be coming again and again. So I'll just try to explain it on the way. Some vocabulary will be difficult for you, maybe the first time you're hearing it. I'll try to explain as I go along. Jainism is a way of life and one of the oldest religions in the world. It believes in a cyclic nature of the universe. What does cyclic mean? We say, you know, like a sine wave. It goes up and down, up and down. It has no beginning and no end. Jainism lay heavy emphasis on non-violence. You hear about non-violence by Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi.
Alexa off.
Can somebody unmute yourself, please? Yes, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, all those people go the non-violence principle from Jainism. According to Jain philosophy, all Tirthankars were born as human beings. What are Tirthankars? Tirthankars are like gurus, like teachers. They are Jain gods.
It's a religion one.
Can somebody unmute themselves, please? Thank you.
You mute Arvinder, don't you?
I can, but I was leaving to the individual. But okay, let's. It's JR, I think.
No, it's not me.
It's
No,
Philippa.
it's not you.
Philippa's
Okay.
coming up.
Okay, I'm muted all. Yeah. Okay. How's that? Good. Okay. Peter, I'm just going to. Okay. Hello.
Can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
That can somebody, Peter, can you unmute yourself, please? So I can see if I need to. Okay, Peter, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
I'm
that's okay. At least if anything goes wrong, you got to communicate with me. That's good. Okay.
all
So I
right.
was-
Yeah, fine.
So I was saying the thinkers are like gurus. Some people call them prophets, or some people call them pagambers. Some people call them reborn. But we say they are people like you and me who have attained their state of perfection or enlightenment or by meditation and self-realization. They are the gods of Jain. You will see some picture now and then. This here is the flag of Jains. Okay. Again, I'll continue with the same thing. Jains have always practiced non-violence, vegetarianism, meditation, yoga, and environmentalism. Jainism is the most peaceful religion. The goal of Jainism is to reach moksha and thus breaking the cycle of life and death, which means we believe in rebirth, but if you can, our aim is to break the cycle. So we can reach this stage called moksha, where you have no more attachment, you will not be born again. So if you're not born again, you can't die. This diagram there, there are, I don't know whether you can see a full diagram or not on the left-hand side. This is a Om symbol for Jain. It has different stages. Right at the bottom, and right at the top is the highest stage. Can you see the moon there? And on the top of the moon is the what we call when you have reached moksha. That's Siddha. And then there's Arihant, then there's Acharya, then Upadhyaya, then Sadhus. These are 5 stages. When we pray, we bow down to these 5 people. We don't name anybody. We are saying all the people who have attained salvation or moksha. It could be a Christian person, it could be a Hindu, it could be a Muslim, it could be anybody. We don't name as such. Acharyas, they are the head of congregation. Arihants are same as Siddha. The only thing is Arihants are still alive. They still have a physical form. When they leave the physical form, they will become Siddha. Upadhyayas, they are people who write about the faith and they write books and everything, which they send the information. And the bottom one is all the monks and nuns in the world. Then on the right hand side, you got the moon again. On the top, you got the all the people who have reached salvation. Then you got 3 green stars there. Those are 3 main principles we have: right knowledge, right understanding, and right character. And then you have a swastika, and then there you got 4 dots in there, and they are 4 stages of life. We say we can be as a born in heaven, hellish, in animals, or in human being. So principles, again, non-violence, multiplicity of views, anekantvad, non-possessiveness, and truthfulness, and non-stealing. I think the first 3 are the most important bases, which many other religions have taken from us. Non-violence, I would explain. If we adopt these 3 policies, then we can live in a peaceful situation. There will be no killing, there will be no wars, and there will be no shortage of food. There will be no problem with the nature. We won't have any tsunamis. We won't have any temperature rise or temperature going down. We'll come to that in a second. So non-violence already know. What does multiplicity of views mean? Anekantvad. What it means is that Peter can have one view, I can have a different one, somebody can have different. So the truth lies between all of them. One of them may not be true, but put it together, if we respect each other, we respect their views. Sometimes we respect to differ, but we don't fight that this is my view and this is the only way. Non-possessiveness, we believe that we should not be attached to materialist. We don't aim to have material because we fancy having it. We need to have possessions which we need to survive. And we should have them for survival, not for greed or for possession to show off. If we only take from nature what we need, instead of we want a big bungalows, we want houses, we want this, we want that, start chopping trees, start taking more and more land. So start hoarding more and more stuff. So that's possessiveness, whether it is material or even in your thoughts. Truthfulness. Many religions say that you should always speak truth, not lie, and also stealing. But this is, if you imagine, this was right at the beginning, these principles. Many other faiths have taken these into their own faith, which is very good. So we are very pleased. See, we believe it's the principle that matters, not the name. Okay. Are you still with me, Peter? Okay, good. So
Yeah, very good.
Jainism believes in godhood, but does not believe God as a creator, preserver, or destroyer of the universe. Many other religions besides Buddhism, to my knowledge, believe that there's a God. He or she controls everything. He created it. He preserves it. He destroys it. Well, we don't agree with that. We don't actually have that feeling. We say you and me have the potential to become God. Our future, our present depend on our karma, what we did in the previous lives, or even what we are doing now. You see, my personal point, if there's a God who loves everybody, why should he punish or reward? God should be impartial. We believe that Jain God who goes there, they play no part whatsoever. They have set the rules, they have set the path, and they say, this is the path I followed, it's up to you. You can follow this path and get to the moksha, or you find yourself, your own truth. They don't force you, but they cannot help you. They cannot do anything for you. Only we can. Only we are capable of creating problem or sorting a problem. And we also believe that all beings are equal. We all have a soul. It makes no difference whether you are white, black, green, yellow, whether you are animal, whether you're plant, they all have souls. And we must respect them. So you can see the looking after nature. We believe even plants, they deserve the same treatment. Then you might say we have to survive. Yes, for survival, we can take small amount. We don't have to say have 10 dishes there because we taste this or somebody may like it. So each person is capable of achieving godhood. All living beings have souls and are equal. That's the important bit. All life is sacred. Therefore, living in peace and harmony is essential. That means everybody, plants, animals, and us. Elimination of a karma is the path to liberation and achievement of godhood. It requires multiple rebirths to clean the slate, if you like. The ultimate goal is to be free from all karma. The theory of karma is founded on the simple law of cause and effect, which is a physics law. What we experience now is the result of our own past action, and the future is function of our own choice of making. Explain the role the karmas play in our lives, how we accumulate karmas, and how we get rid of them. Karma theory, the principle governing the succession of life cycles, birth, life, and death, is karma action of mind, speech, and body that bind our soul with karma, and attention and the passion determine the duration, strength, and the results of bondage. See, some people say, okay, why did I get hanged? Why did I do this? It depends what karma you did before. What was the intensity of that? Was it a small things? Did you do a physical violence? See, we believe it doesn't have to be violence physically only. We say in mind, man, vachan, kaya. Man meaning in thought, in your, when you say it or when you do it. The worst one is when you think about it. Though people can't see, they therefore think that is the more intense one. If you kill somebody, it's obvious. But when you feel like killing somebody, that is the worst one. And we again the sums here. All souls are equal. Non-violence, multiplicity of views, non-possessiveness, karma as well, and 3 jewels. This is very important. Right faith, right conduct, and right knowledge. You can follow a religion, you can have information, you can behave according to that. If it's not the right way, then you are going to suffer. You are going to create karma, and which could be good or bad karma. Eventually, we need to get rid of all the karma, good or bad. We should be a slate, if you like, our soul should be spotless, absolutely clean. Code of conduct from monks and nuns are stricter. See, we as a general public have easier law of conduct, code of conduct than the monks and nuns. So codes for laymen and laywomen, vegetarian and non-violent practices. For example, we shouldn't wear silk, leather, animal products. Simplicity of lifestyle, no materialism, very simple things. Now you can see this is in the roots of non-violence. And now we're talking about green, and we're talking about vegans, and we are talking about PETA. All these are extension of Jain principle, which we're very happy to see. It doesn't matter what name it comes under. Meditation and introspection. Many people do meditation. I don't know how many people do introspection. We are supposed to introspect ourselves daily before going to bed. How many bad things have I done? Who have I hurt physically, mentally, or otherwise? And we should ask for the forgiveness. And we should forgive them as well. And so forgiveness is a moral doctrine. That's the basis. Compassion, charity, community service, preservation of environment. Jainism is the world's only religion emphasizing the environment. Well, if you're looking after all the plants and material and the earth and everything, then and water, we're only supposed to take water that we need, not waste. When you can take a bucket of water and clean yourself, then filling a tub of water. How much water we are wasting? We also believe that water has a life. So has fire, so has air. So we must protect them. And how does Jain bring changes? Well, if you look at the simple sheet here, you can have anger, arrogance, deception, greed, control of destructive emotions. That's mentally. Violence, lies, stealing, lust, unlimited possessiveness. That is abstaining from physical. Vegetarian, family values. These are Jain family characteristics. How does Jainism bring changes? Multi-step approach. Well, control anger through forgiveness, arrogance through humility, deception through honesty, greed through contentment. Major emphasis in Jainism is on non-violence again. The origin of Jainism. I think we got a hand there, Sayaban. Sayaban, you want to ask a question? Sayaban? Hello? Sayaban, unmute yourself, please.
Me?
Yeah, Sayaban, you put a hand up. You want to ask a question?
Oh, I didn't mean to put a hand up. Sorry.
Okay. No issue, no issue. Okay, carry on. Okay. Okay, unmute yourself. Okay, the origin of Jainism. You see, if you look at the Abraham religions, 2,600 before Christ, then Exodus from Egypt, then you got Israel, which became Judaism, and then Christianity, and then Islam, and then if you look at Jainism, we say it has no beginning and it has no end. The last Tirthankara, our guru, our teacher, was born 556 BC, 7 BC before Christ. And that was the 24th. That means there were 23 before that. And that was only in this time era. Before that, there were 24 more. So we have an era which goes into thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, and they have 24 teachers in each era. So nobody founded Jainism. It is written in books that Mahavira, the last guru, Tirthankara, formed Jainism. No, Jainism is not formed by anybody. It may have different names over the millenniums. And Hinduism also. Can somebody, is this Savan? Please unmute yourself.
I have unmuted myself. There was a number of people who went on the wrong site who waiting to join. I think they've already, I've looked at the list and they've joined.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Okay, then Buddhism. Some people believe that Buddhism is a part of Jainism. Some people think that Jain is a part of Hinduism. That is a wrong notion, how the historians have projected it. That's wrong. You see, Buddha, Lord Buddha was born 20 years after Lord Mahavira, which was 557 years. And we are 23 before that. Millions of years, we believe. Hinduism, also some people think that Jainism is a part of Hinduism. It's not. We have two parallel philosophy going on in India. They were Shraman and, if you like, Hindu, what they call themselves, Brahmanic. They believe in a God as a creator, preserver, and destroyer. Buddhism doesn't. Jainism certainly doesn't. So you can see, it had no beginning, and certainly it will have no ending. We believe as we go down, Jainism will go down, and then time will come, it will rise again. Because better will peak, and then it carries on. It's a cycle, millions of years of cycle. Okay, Jainism doesn't have a single founder. The truth has been revealed at different times by different Tirthankara, which means the teacher who makes a fold, i.e. shows the way. Other religions call such a person prophet. Tirthankaras accomplish the highest spiritual goal of existence and then teach others how to achieve it. In what Jains call the present age, there have been 24 Tirthankaras. That's the present age I'm talking about. And Lord Mahavira was the last one. And there will be 24 more. And this carries on. You see, the biggest thing we have to remember is that why do these people come down? Lord Mahavir came 2,600 years ago. The reason is very simple, as the vocabulary has a limitation. If somebody mentioned about these iPhone and videos 100 years ago, would people understand the language? No. We talk about Wi-Fi, all the language that have been introduced in the last 20 years, people won't even, now when hearing about it, they won't even imagine. So when time changes, the language changes, experience changes. It's like having if I tell you a PhD thesis now, it will go over many people. But then it becomes common in a few years' time, I can talk about it. So these people, these Tirthankars come after a certain time to set new rules, to make it, to simplify, to explain the existence. That's why we have these. Tirthankaras teach the way to moksha or liberation. It's not a reincarnation of the God. He or she is ordinary soul that is born as a human being and attains the states of Tirthankara as a result of intense practice of penance, equanimity, and meditation. Then taught their contemporaries the way to reach it through spiritual purity. Each new Tirthankara preaches the same basic philosophy, but they give the Jain way of life subtly different forms in order to suit the age and the culture in which they teach it. So it's understood by people of the time. Well, I think that I can leave that slide because time is running out. Okay, we believe the first Tirthankara of this era, millions of years ago, basically we're saying, was Rishabdeva. I think he is the one who was before Lord Vishnu and Purana was mentioned, and also they and the way they followed each other. All 24 came at different times, and Tirthankara Rishabh, the first one, and Mahavira is the last, and they were born in different places in the country. Can I just quickly stick through that? Okay, just a bit more about Lord Mahavira. He was the 24th and final Tirthankara, born on March 30, 590 BC, about 2,600 years ago, as a prince in Bihar, India. He had many names. When he was born, his name was given Bardhamana, which means rising or growing. When he was born, everything in the empire and the kingdom grew and grew. Prosperity, everything else. And then in Buddhist text, he is also referred to as Nigrantha, Nataputta. I was saying different names. Bardhamana, he left the world at the age of 30, became ascetic, and then spiritually advanced through the stages to Arhat, Kevali, or Jina, conqueror of the self, as I mentioned before. Jina are people who have conquered their inner enemies, not the outer enemies, inner enemies like greed, lust, anger, possessiveness, all those. After leaving home for 12 years, he developed himself self-discipline and practiced several penance and austerity. He preached for next 30 years until the age of 72, when he obtained nirvana in the year 527 BC. The ultimate objective of teaching is how one can attain the total freedom from the cycle of birth and death and achieve the permanent bliss known as liberation, nirvana, absolute freedom. What do we really want? We want absolute bliss. With different ways, and this is the way Jain believe. His philosophy has 8 cardinal laws of trust principles, 3 metaphysical, Dravya, Jeev, and Ajeev. Dravya is matter, Jeev, living and non-living, and 5 ethical. The objective is to elevate the quality of life. 5 physical principles that are preached by Mahavira: non-violence, truth, non-stealing, brahmacharya is chastity, and aprigra, non-possession, and non-attachment. Mahavira taught that pursuit of pleasure is an endless game. So we should train our mind to curb individual craving and passion. Lord Mahavira envisaged men and women to be equal footing in the matters of spiritual and advancement. We're talking about equality here. Men and women.
Spiritually.
And yes, spiritually. Physically, we are different. And therefore, we are limited to what we can do, depending on there. But certainly, as far as spiritually concerned, no one is better. We have different roles, depending on our physical body. Another fundamental teaching is Anekant, one's viewpoint, pluralism and multiplicity of viewpoints. I already mentioned that. We talk about Jainism, religion, Western religion, they believe in linearity. We believe in a cycle. So if you look at the birth in the Western style, you are born, pure state, you die, or you go to heaven or hell. Whereas in here, we say cycle of life and death, and we keep getting born and die, and that's a cycle. But our purpose is to eliminate the karmic bondage and get enlightened and nirvana, moksha, no more life and death. Okay. In Western religion, external God controls you. In Eastern religion, we say God is the soul within you. Religion, philosophy, science are separate, whereas in Eastern religion and philosophy are intertwined. Linear nature of life and death, whereas in Eastern we say it's a cycle. As you sow, so you reap on Judgment Day. That's what the Western say. We are saying karma determining your next life. And this is a snapshot founded by Mahavira. That which I mentioned. Books say that it isn't founded. It's just that it became reformed. He was the 24th. He was just made it popular, common to the present generation of last 2,600 years. It's the 6th largest population in India. There was a time when most of the India was Jain. And then you might wonder why population has gone down. But the reason is quite simple. With all the invasion from foreign people coming, and the kings, when they become under rulers, they change the religion to follow their ruler, and the public follow that. So over the thousands of years, it changed from Jains to Buddhist, and some Hindus, and then back to Muslims, Christianity, and this is the cycle keep going. And that is predicted already. We are going down, and then after about 20,000 years, and then from almost elimination point, it will start picking up again. And the population is about, as I said, just over 44 lakhs, they say. Literacy rate, most people are literate. They can read, and because that's and they are very business community, very well off community. And the philosophy is ahimsa, karma, dharma, moksha, major sects. The two kind of sects. One, people don't wear clothes. This is nuns and monks. They all walk barefoot but not to do any damage to other living being and to the mother earth. Textbooks, agama, are the holy books, if you like. There are different numbers according to two different sects. Kalp Sutra is the most common book, and Tat Sutra. These are two very knowledgeable books there. And the major figures are the 24 Tirthankars. First one was Rishivnath. 24th is Mahavira and the Gandhara, and they were easy version of monks. They looked after the medicine side and a few other things. Okay, and this is all. I mentioned this before, some of the symbols, but again, we got this universal symbol now, all adopted a few years back. And this is a palm, which is a cycle in the middle, and the word ahimsa, non-violence, in the middle, which is then into this shape here of a man shape. This is the geographical form of the universe according to Jain. And when you go to the next one there, you can see on the top there a dove of liberated soul called Siddhas. Then you got 4 souls may live in. These heaven, humans, animals, and hellish. And then you got the 3 dots there: right faith, right knowledge, right conduct. Then you got the hinsa in the non-violence. Then that wheel in there, that shows you the cycle. And the motive at the bottom says mutual assistance of all beings. We are all interdependent. Is that okay? Okay. And if I go on the left-hand side, that's just say the same. Wheel of Dharma, 24 spokes represent 24 Tirthankaras. The word inside the wheel is ahimsa. Overall meaning is, after removing all of their karma, living beings will reside in the world as liberated souls. Okay, these are the main functions. Mahavir Jayanti, the celebration of the birth of Lord Mahavira. Piyushan Parv is festival of forgiveness and introspection. We have 8 plus 10 days, 18 days, which we celebrate together, both sects, and we fast. We tend to minimize any kind of violence. We try not to get involved in the business and just pray, fast. Because when you eat food, that's also violence, you see. We try to minimize. We can't cut down violence, but we can minimize. And then always look back what you've done in the year, and try to introspect and try to improve yourself. Praying. So, and then one is Mahavir Nirvana, when the day when he reached moksha, and that is also happened to be on the Diwali, which is also celebrated by Hindus, Sikhs, and Buddhists as well. the idols, if you look at the 24 idols, you'll find they look alike. What does that mean? Why don't they? Because if you look at Jesus Christ, if you look at Rama, if you look at Allah or Muhammad, how they represent, they all are different. See, we don't represent a person, as I said before. We look at their qualities. So when they reach moksha, the physical shape is not important. So they're all given the same shape in a lotus form, fully relaxed. That's what that is. And they all have different symbols, so we can identify them. Ecology, okay, and Jainism. Jains leave little or no imprint on the broader ecology system and hold an affinity for for the ideals of the environment movement. The path to reach the Siddhaloka entails great care in regard to how one lives in relationship to all other living beings that surround one in the earthly realm. Thus, they avoid activities associated with violence and follow vegetarianism. Jainism contains concepts that can lead to the enhancement of core human-earth relationship. Major teaching includes non-possessiveness, self-restraint, minimizing the consumption, provide respect for all other life, reuse, recycle products, don't waste the gift of the nature, share resources, and nature provides enough for our needs, but not for our greed. Now that is the thing that we tend to forget. Okay, I said there are two sects, Digambar and September, which were divided about 200 years after Lord Mahavira. See, when Mahavira left home, he went into jungle and he gave up everything. So he was not attaching to anything. So he was traveling completely naked. People followed that. After a few years of that, there came as one of the monks predicted that there's going to be a what we call a famine. So some monks moved to south and carried on living in a naked state, living in jungles and praying here and there and teaching other people. Whereas some of them stayed in the middle of the country and they started wearing clothes to fit into the to adapt. So that's why there are two sects. There are some differences in their preaching and the thing, but basic things are very same. Now, here's, for example, you can. Here's me. This is a one acharya of September, white clothes, and they're covering their mouth. Now you can see scientific religion we talk about. It's a very scientific religion, but look, they're covering so they don't actually kill anybody, don't harm any living insect. And now you saw we had COVID recently, and people are acting that. So you can see it's been advised to do that all along. Then the other one are people are complete naked. They don't have any possession whatsoever. Only thing is these are peacock's feathers just to clean the place where they sit, where they walk, and they have one pot for carrying water, nothing else. And they take food once a day, once every 24 hours. So that is how strict it can be, how simple it can be. Okay, now temples, there are lots of beautiful temples. That's one temple, as you can see, I don't know, this is in Ranakpur. And when you go inside, it's a beautiful temple. And I can actually just do a whole session on beautiful temple, but just this is about 1500 old. And these are nuns, Jain nuns of a sect. And I have been associated with many of them because these women are allowed to travel by air. See, Jain monks and proper nuns they can't travel in any transport. The transport causes pollution. They walk barefoot. Most of them travel from north to south India and east to west in their lifetime barefoot. So you can see how conscious they are of environment. This has started now, and all these different companies are coming now and suggesting this, but we've been saying it for thousands of years back. And this is just a nun, and when she got initiated, she had this cloth, and she's given these bowls, which she used to go and people's houses to get little bit of food from every almost 8 or 10 houses. Then she brings it back, share that with the leader, and the leader will decide who gets what. It's not like beggars. People say, oh, you find beggars. No, you can see the difference. They only go at a certain time. They can only eat twice a day, before sunset and after sunset. And whatever they take in their container must be finished. Nothing can be kept or thrown away, because that will grow bacteria and other insects, which we don't want. And then there's the two sets that came to Birmingham, and then with two of them, just and this is Lord Mahavira's statue, which was placed in Birmingham Museum, donated by our Jains ashram. And these happen to be my grandchildren who live in Holland, and they came there. I took them there, so I took that photograph. So I mean, my granddaughter was only, I think, 4, and he's about 10 there. And again, this was the first Jain monk who broke the cycle of rebelling against the system. Saying, I am going to travel to the West, because the West needs to know about us as well. See, Buddha went all over the world, in the Southeast Asia especially. People come to know about it. Jains were restricted simply because they can only travel by foot, and they can't cross water. They couldn't cross the sea. But he was the first monk, late Acharya Shishil Muni, and who actually came and spread the news of Jainism, met Pope, another big institution. And the center which I am president of, is the first center which was opened here in Birmingham. This is the temple, and you can see I was talking to you about the statues, murtis. Can you see they both are identical? You can't tell. The only way you can tell is that there is a symbol at the bottom that represents. And again, animals are given a lot of respect. The tiger or lion represents Lord Mahavira. This is a deer, which represents Shanti Nath Bhagavan. Shanti is peace, and deer associated with that. So that is the stage you want to get to. Absolute bliss. No more worries, no attachment. Let's see if okay. Okay, that's it. Okay. All right, let's open to anybody. I hope you enjoyed that. It wasn't too much. I think you can all unmute yourself, and anybody
Can I ask a question? I
Go
was
ahead.
told that
I can't see anybody, so please give your name and then please ask question.
my name is Chris.
Yeah.
I was told that the Jain people don't eat root vegetables. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
Yes, that is true. I tell you the reason for that. 2 issues for that, because I could have gone. They don't eat any meat whatsoever, or any seafood, or egg, or fish. Also, they don't eat any underground fruit. The reason is this: but to get the underground food, you got to kill the plant first of all.
Right, I'm with
Okay,
you.
that's one thing. Secondly, when you dig the ground, how many insects and living beings are in the soil?
Yeah,
When you're digging them, you're killing them. You're causing violence.
yeah,
So if you take a tree, for example, you can cut the tree, you can shake the tree, or you can wait for the fruit to fall down.
yeah.
So there are different kind of violence. So our philosophy is that's what used to be. It's not practical now. Wait for the fruit to fall down, because that is fully ripe. No violence there. You can eat that.
Thank you. That explains.
And we got 2
that
other
very
hands,
well.
Sally.
When you give your name, can you say where you're from, please?
Okay, I'm Sally Starborg, and I'm from Chester, U3A.
Thank you.
I was interested particularly in the slide that you showed. I'm sorry, it might be difficult to go back. You were talking about the controlling destructive emotions, and you mentioned anger, arrogance, greed, and deception, if I've got that right. But you then mentioned the controlling the counteracts. So
Sorry, let me just.
you had contentment for greed, but I missed the other ones.
Can you? I'm going back, telling you.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I didn't make a note of what number it was.
I'm sorry. Is this one? No.
No, you were talking about these destructive emotions, and I say what interested me, and I didn't get to write down, was the counteraction. So you said that, and I understand this, contentment counteracts greed.
Here we are.
But then you had the other ones. That's it: anger, arrogance, deception, and greed.
Yeah, anger, arrogance, deception, and greed.
So the counteract, it's what you were saying would counteract them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to, if you control your anger,
Yeah.
and you control, don't say arrogance, and don't cheat anybody. Don't. This is the control your destructive emotion. This is what we do.
Right. So it's not.
When we become angry, when we are arrogant, when we are cheating, when we are greedy, yeah. If we can't do that, then that is how we control our destructive emotion. Mentally say, I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be arrogant.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought it was sort of almost like replacing it with a positive.
No. Just that we got to control them.
Right. Sorry about that.
That's no problem.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And
Arvinder, can I answer a question in the chat? Okay, I've been asked a couple of times about.
Please do. I haven't been able to. Sorry, please, Peter, do.
I've been asked a couple of times in the chat about availability of the slides and the
yes, I've just said that. Yeah.
So I will, subject to Arvinder agreeing, I will put them on the Exploring World Faith subject page on the National U3A website. So they're
I think Stephanie just asked a question. Is Jainism similar to Brahma Kumari? No. Brahma Kumari is very recent something. It has different beats. It's nothing. But as I said, many religions have taken some good things from Jainism. But Jainism is one of the oldest, as I said. So people, nothing new is formed. It's already done. You can reshape it. You can present it differently. And this is why different thinkers come different times. So if, for example, I was listening to some lectures in a Sikh temple the other days, Bhai Sahib Minder Singh Ji, and I said, well, Bhai Sahib, I find it's very similar to Jainism. And as you also, he said, I'm honored to be a Jain now. So what I'm saying is, you'll find some parts are taken, not as a package. Okay. Any other question? Please mute every. Okay. If you want to.
I'm still trying. This is Anne.
Okay. No. All right. Sorry. Anybody else now?
Anne, can I ask?
Where are you from, Anne?
I'm from Bromley.
Bromley. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
You asked. You said something about forgiveness.
Yes.
And if you don't have a God, who are you asking forgiveness of?
See, you forgot. As far as I'm concerned, you have potential to become God. I have. Everybody has.
So I'm forgiving myself.
No. Let me say. If I hurt you knowingly or unknowingly, by thoughts, by saying, or by actually doing it, knowingly or unknowingly, I ask you to forgive me, and I also forgive you. I'm not asking the God to forgive, because God plays no role. This is what I said. We can become God where we have become detached. We are responsible for our actions totally. We are responsible for our present life and future because of our actions. So if we are hurting anybody, why should we ask God to forgive somebody else? If you are the cause, if you are hurting me, you should ask me for forgiveness. And everybody else. Sometimes, we hurt people without even meaning it. We don't even know. So
Right.
before you go to sleep, you should do that. We should all do that. Ask everybody. It doesn't matter. The message goes through the universe. Is that okay? No? Please ask again.
I can understand going to somebody I've sworn at or something and say, please forgive me. But how can I don't see how you can forgive something you don't even know you've done.
No, but there are so many things you are asking. This is the feeling. You got to be humble. Another, if you carry grudges,
Yeah.
look how many things we do. Say you're walking on the road. How many things you kill on the way? You don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How many times you look at the person and you feel jealous and you envy sometimes and you hate somebody. You know, somebody walks into the room sometimes you feel very uncomfortable, don't you?
Yeah.
Something. Well, that's what we're talking about. So that is how deep thoughts has gone into.
So at the end of the day, I should. I still don't see how I can ask for forgiveness from myself. I don't get it.
No. You're not asking yourself. You are asking other people to forgive you, and you are forgiving other people for hurting you if they have. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I thought we got confused. So we are asking other people, other animals, other plants, whatever, other souls to forgive me if I have hurt them knowingly or unknowingly. That's first thing I'm asking to forgive me. And then at the same time, I'm forgiving them if they have done the same.
Right.
That's the thing. I hope that's clear.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, we've got a few more.
Yes, please. I'm
Rob,
here.
go ahead.
Please keep throwing. Name and answer question.
Rob,
please.
go ahead.
Right. I've got two things to say. One is that I can understand game for enlightenment, etc. Understand distancing yourself from.
Sorry, line is very disturbed. I can't hear clearly.
Right. Okay. I'll just take off the video.
That's better.
Right.
Yeah, that's better. Where are you from, Rob?
Weatherby, U3A.
Weatherby. Thank you.
In Yorkshire. I can understand why to attain enlightenment and to grow and extra lives, etc., that you've got to distance yourself from all the things that are bad. But all the things that are bad are actually the structure of how we live. So I'm not quite sure how a Jain would deal with a situation where you need to build the structure, you need to have the material things that we've all got used to, and how you would live without them.
Okay. I got the gist. I got the gist, Ross. Look, I've said we cannot live without total non-violence. We have to minimize. Which means, do you want a 10-room house, or you want a two-room flat, or do you want 20 shirts, or can you manage with 5 shirts? Do you need a big massive car, or can you walk, or can you go on a bicycle? This is the lifestyle we're talking about.
All right. And then the other question is, the other religions talking about, particularly Christianity, Judaism, going forth and multiply. How do you get new Jains? Because if it's meant to be sort of non-desiring, etc., which is the natural condition.
Okay. Now then, there are two issues here. One, we don't actually believe in converting people. That's first thing. We don't believe in conversion. But if you want to adopt Jain philosophy, nothing is stopping you. Are you with me?
Yeah.
We don't go around converting people, not like missionaries or other people. We are saying this is, even the Shankar said, this is the path I followed. You search the truth yourself. You're entitled, you're welcome to follow this, but always search the truth yourself. Don't take a second-hand information. Then also, you see, as I said, many good things have taken from Jainism. So it doesn't matter the number of Jainism Jain is going down. If non-violence has been adopted by other people, if vegans are working on it, if other people are doing it, so what difference? It's the quality. the name is not important. It's the philosophy that's important.
Yeah, but apart from that, excuse me for maybe focusing my question a little bit better. Okay, so you're a father and a grandfather. Okay,
Yep.
so
Yep.
clearly you couldn't have done some of the things you're meant to be doing, and neither of the rest of us. So I just wondered how that fits. If you
Yes,
see.
yes. Well, look, what I'm saying is that answer to that, because see, there are nuns and monks. They have stricter code of practice. We are lay people.
Yeah.
So, okay, rather than having, say, for example, sex, you're saying, instead of having sex every night, you might say, okay, I will have sex every month. Or I will have sex only when I have children. It's minimizing.
Right.
If we control totally, we'll become Tirthankar, we'll become salvation reach. Unfortunately, we are on a different level at the moment. We're working towards.
Got it. Okay,
Okay.
thank you for
Okay,
that.
Arvinder, thank you. Alan, do you want to ask your question, please? And tell us where you're from.
I live in Luton, and
Luton, thank you.
my question is this question of gods. And it's very confusing because each religion views God in a different way. And when it comes to interfaith relations and the question of conversion, this is very problematical. I know that from experience. But what I'd like to just say that in my book, From Heaven to Heaven, that's from Adam and Eve in heaven to heaven, I believe in a sort of idealistic aim. And what it's calling for was a national commission, which is now happening through Sir Anthony Selden with the Times. It's also calling for community creativity centers in every town and village. That is to enable every child to have a holistic education. And the third thing is the whole question of every child should play a musical instrument. That's the last line of it. But now the United Nations is backing that. And Sir Keir Starmer in his speech was backing it as well.
What's that got to do with Jainism?
Well, it's very important because Jainism is an old religion and we're living in a modern world. And there were 6,000 suicides in England in the year before the lockdown. And the whole question is that if the religions should be providing the answers for every child to have a holistic education. And that's not happening. And
Alan, can I
whatever the ideal,
sorry, Alan, time is running out. Can I just get the gist from you and answer?
Whatever the ideal, it may be that you're in Jainism, it's the gods. In the other religions, the human beings are not gods. And so I'd like to hear your reflection on that.
Alan, I will just very.
I've already given it you.
Hello. Alan,
I'd like to hear
Alan, if you precisely answer me a question later on, if you don't mind, I'll answer it fully. But just from what I could understand,
Just promoting his bloody book.
Sorry?
No, it's not. The question is very simple. In Jainism, one can attain a God state.
Yeah.
In the other religions, we're human beings, and there's life and death. And when it comes to conversion, there's a play made sometimes on this God state, one or two religions, which is unfair. And for unknowing people of their religions, this can catch them out.
Okay, Alan, I first of all, Jainism doesn't believe in conversion, but it doesn't forbid that you should learn about other religions. I said, Lord Mahavira said, this is the way I've reached moksha. You find the truth yourself. You find out. Don't take my word for it. So find out all the other religions. I'm a part of a multi-faith myself. Have been. I don't say one religion is better than others. I don't look down on them. I say, this is what I believe. And that is what we say. Remember, multiple views. That is the basis of Jainism. We must respect other views as well, whether they are right or wrong. We can't go on fighting. We can't go on converting. There are religions without aiming. They are saying, this is the only way. You must convert. No, we don't believe in that. And if that is happening, I think it's wrong. You look around in the world, what a mess we have. And that is caused by, I'm sorry to say, by religious people. I won't say religion, but religious people. So my bottom line is, again, let's respect everybody. When we are talking about all souls are same, all living beings are same, how can we then mistreat them, whether it's children or older people? How can we go and kill them? Say either this way or that way. If you don't, no, we don't believe in that. Certainly, we believe in total compassion, total peaceful situation. And this is what I found. You can take it or leave it. I am not going to hold anything against you. If that is the philosophy we're talking about. Life and death, yes, it is going to be a natural process. Ultimately, if you break according to Jains or Buddhism, and you got nirvana or moksha, then you solve that way. I hope I have answered it. I'm not quite sure whether I have or
Thank you
not.
very much. I've been to the temple of Jaipur and it's lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay, Alan.
Thank you,
Anybody
Alan.
else?
Thank you, Arvinder. We've still got Siobhan has got a hand up. Who's been up
No,
for...
sorry, I don't know how to take it down.
All right, okay, fine. Don't worry. All right. So I think we've exhausted the questions then, Arvinder. So thank you very much for your very clear presentation, your very clear explanation and answers to the questions. Okay, so could I just say on behalf of everyone, thank you so much for that presentation. Thank you for coming today. I think we had 41 actually at the maximum. And just to remind you, on the 17th of November, our next webinar will be on faiths working together, and that's during Interfaith Week. On the 8th of December, we have a webinar on the Zoroastrian faith. And then in January, there will be a webinar for leaders of, or leaders coordinators of exploring world faiths in other U3As, or anyone thinking of doing so. If you're not on the mailing list already and you would like to be, I put my email address and my telephone number in the chat. Okay, so please feel free to phone, text, or email me. Alan, I know you're wanting to talk, but Arvinder's Zoom at the moment, and I've got another meeting at 11 o'clock on autism of all things. So I'll send you a Zoom invitation. If you're free at 12:15, we'll have a conversation then. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for